room.
Okay.
Everything starts here and everything ends here. It doesn't look like it, but everything in this room is used. This is our sugar cake. This is what we're known for. It's a mashed potato yeast bread with brown sugar butter and cinnamon on it, and we bake that in the brick oven. It's one of the oldest recipes. It came over from Europe with the Moravians, the recipe did. In Germany, they don't have as much brown sugar. So some people from there use white, but their preference was to use the brown sugar. And when we walk this way, I'll show you, this is the Winkler bakery. The building is from the year 1800. Christian Winkler came here in 1807. One of his sons, he had 4 boys and 2 girls upstairs. One of his sons ran the bakery for 30 years, him and his wife. It stayed in the descendants until the late 1920s, 26, 27, along that time. At that time, there were still descendants lived upstairs, and a different business was downstairs. We'll walk down here to the oven room. This is the stairs going upstairs where the Winklers lived. And this is our oven room. We use white oak. The breads will rise here on these shelves, and on these shelves, sugar cake rises. This oven is 9 feet deep. Can it take from there?
Yes, ma'am.
This is 9 feet deep, 7 feet wide, and 2 feet in the dome. We can actually bake up to 96 loaves of bread at a time. Christian Winkler had no electricity, so instead of having a light like this where he could see, it was like this even in the daytime.
Wow.
But because of that, the Winklers had very poor eyesight. Because of all the soot, they also had respiratory problems. He baked in the oven. He would fire the oven sometimes 3 times in a day. Everybody came to the bakery. The Moravians were very afraid of fire here in Salem. So the bakery was the main place to bake. Some of the people might have a little oven outside, but they came here primarily for their baked goods. And we bake Tuesday through Saturday. We do sugar cake and breads in the brick oven still, as close to the old way as we can. Christian Winkler sold his breads in 2 and 5 pound loaves, and he put cornmeal and a little heartier things in it. We do 1 pound loaves today. Years ago, each person was supposed to consume 1 pound of grain a day. I could do that. I could eat a whole loaf of bread, I know. This is drying out for 1 day's bake, and this is stacked with what will be Tuesday's bake. Then they'll put this here in little log cabin stacks to dry out, and they'll put this window full of wood again. The flue goes up from the back, curls up towards the front, and goes up. It's called a squirrel tail flue. The flue would be hot and make the fire burn hotter, and the fire in turn would make the flue hotter so it would suck out faster. You have to get the oven up to between 500 and 600 degrees. Move all the coals around, and at the end they bring the coals up to the front and heat the front of the bricks. All the ashes and cinders goes down into this trough, and it's a little ash door outside. Someone comes and gets the ashes and cinders. They come and get those for fertilizer for the garden or to make lye soap. The heat from the brick needs to come down to 400 degrees to load the bread. Then it comes down to 375 because of the bread going in. Sugar cake is cooked next. Pound cakes would have been cooked next. Cookies would be cooked last. And as the temperature goes down, if you lose that temperature, you've lost it. You have to start all over again. It can be a long process. Interesting, but very long. Men primarily bake. We still have some of the tools that was here when Christian Winkler was. They're very heavy and made out of steel. So men are primarily the bakers. Miss Winkler would have been across the way selling and doing those things. She actually had a little place between here and the hat shop that she sold smoked oysters and those things, and there was a fireplace over there for her to do her things. Her first responsibility always was upstairs with her home and teaching her children. and Christian Winkler was here, and he taught all of his sons about baking. It was so nice to meet you. I've got to get over here and get to work. It's so